Karma is one of those concepts that has stood the test of time because it speaks to a fundamental truth about life. Every action we take has consequences, whether you believe in it as a spiritual law, a universal truth, or just the natural rhythm of cause and effect. The idea that what you put out into the world eventually comes back to you is one of the most powerful and universal truths we can understand. Every choice you make, every word you speak, and every action you take sets something in motion. It creates a ripple effect that may come back to you in ways you might not always see, but that doesn't change the fact that they're always there. What you give to others will find its way back to you, either in joy or pain, success or failure. The law of karma isn't just about punishing the bad or rewarding the good. It's much deeper than that. It's a universal mechanism that ensures balance, balancing not just individual actions, but energies and intentions over time. It is the embodiment of cause and effect. Plain and simple, you reap what you sow. If you plant seeds of kindness, respect, and honesty, those seeds will grow into trust, respect, and strong relationships. Conversely, if you plant seeds of malice, deceit, and cruelty, you're planting thorns that will eventually grow into pain and suffering. It's about choice, but it's also about responsibility. Every choice we make carries weight, whether we want to admit it or not. And think about how this principle plays out in real life. Every decision you make has a consequence, whether it's immediate or far off. When you choose to act with compassion and fairness, even in situations where it may be easier to act selfishly, you are creating positive ripples in the world. Those ripples touch the lives of others, and over time they find their way back to you. Conversely, when you choose to lie, manipulate, or harm others, those choices eventually catch up with you. That's the nature of cause and effect. Nothing goes unnoticed or unaccounted for. It doesn't always happen in a direct way, but it always finds its way back to where it began. The idea that every action creates a ripple effect can be seen in our everyday interactions. Think about a time when you were on the receiving end of someone's kindness, perhaps a stranger who gave you encouragement when you needed it most, or a friend who stood by your side when you were going through a difficult time. That simple act of kindness set off a chain of events that may have lifted your spirits and changed your perspective. It may have inspired you to be kind to someone else in return, and that chain could continue on and on. Similarly, when someone acts with cruelty or selfishness, their actions don't just affect one person or one moment, they create consequences that reverberate outward, impacting others in ways that can be felt over time. Some people might see karma as fate, destiny, or divine justice. However, at its core, karma is simply about accountability and responsibility. It acknowledges that the choices you make are yours alone to bear, and that you can't escape the results of those choices. It is a reminder that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control your actions and your intentions. Your thoughts, decisions, and behaviors are seeds that you plant in the ground every single day. Some seeds will grow into blessings, while others may lead to pain. This is why being mindful of your actions is so critical. The power of karma lies in understanding that you have the ability to shape your own outcomes by choosing wisely and intentionally. It's important to understand that karma isn't just about bad actions coming back to haunt you. It's equally about the positive choices you make. Kindness, generosity, compassion, humility, and integrity are powerful forces that not only build strong relationships, but also set the stage for long-term happiness and success. Every time you extend a helping hand, every time you offer encouragement to someone who is struggling, you're putting good energy into the world. And just like the seeds of negativity, the seeds of goodness will eventually come back to you. You might not always know when or how, but the universe has a way of ensuring that these positive actions return to you at the right time. The beauty of karma is that it gives you the power to change your life through your choices. If you've made mistakes or acted in ways that have led to pain or suffering, the path to healing begins with taking responsibility for your actions and making different choices moving forward. The law of karma isn't about being stuck in the past or punished for missteps. It's about learning, growth, and transformation. Recognizing your actions and their effects allows you to grow into a better version of yourself, one decision at a time. You are never trapped by your past. You can choose to plant new seeds, to make amends, to shift your behavior, and to align your actions with the kind of life you want to create. Karma can teach you patience too. While it may feel as though some people seem to get away with poor choices or harmful behavior, it's important to trust the process. Karma doesn't operate on our timeline and it doesn't require your interference. People might think they can escape consequences, but in time, the law of cause and effect has a way of revealing the truth and restoring balance. You don't need to chase someone down to make them pay for their actions. Life has its own way of addressing what needs to be addressed. And by focusing on your own choices and actions, rather than becoming preoccupied with how others may or may not be punished, you can live a more peaceful, intentional, and purposeful life. Ultimately, understanding that karma is a reflection of cause and effect empowers you. It shifts the focus back to your own actions and reminds you that you have control over your own destiny. You can choose to sow seeds of positivity, kindness, and integrity. You can choose to take responsibility for your own growth and create the life you want through the decisions you make each day. It's a simple truth. If you put good into the world, good will find its way back to you. And if you act selfishly or harm others, you will eventually feel the consequences of those actions too. Karma is always at work. It's a reminder that life operates in balance, that choices are never without consequences, and that we are all connected by the energy we share. Every choice you make sets the stage for your life, shaping the path you'll walk. So choose wisely and remember that the law of karma is always working, whether you see it or not. You don't have to seek revenge or try to punish others for their actions, because karma has its own way of doing the work. Many people make the mistake of trying to force consequences upon those they feel have wronged them. They spend time, energy, and emotional resources plotting paybacks, hoping that their efforts will ensure that the wrongdoer suffers in the way they feel they should. However, this approach is misguided because karma doesn't require your help or intervention. It operates independently with its own timeline and its own methods of restoring balance. You don't need to chase after anyone or spend your life consumed by anger or bitterness in an attempt to make them pay. Life has its own system of checks and balances, and trust me, it works every time. When you feel wronged, betrayed, or hurt, your first instinct might be to make sure that the person responsible is aware of their actions or they face consequences for their wrongdoing. It's natural to feel this way. After all, we are wired to seek justice, to seek fairness, and to make things right when we feel like we've been mistreated. But here's the thing. Trying to force someone to face consequences or seeking revenge only leads to more suffering. It pulls you into a cycle of anger, resentment, and frustration that will only weigh you down over time. You'll find yourself living in a state of bitterness, always looking over your shoulder, always replaying their actions, and allowing that pain to control your emotions. The truth is, revenge is a burden, not a relief. When you choose to punish someone out of anger or pain, you're giving them even more power over your life. You're allowing their actions to dictate your thoughts, your energy, and your focus. You think about that for a moment. When you focus all your time and attention on seeking revenge, you are giving them control over you. You're letting their actions dictate your emotional state. And that is the last thing you want. You can free yourself from this by letting go of the idea of punishing someone and instead focusing on healing and growth for yourself. Trust that karma is already at work. Karma has its own timing. It doesn't operate on your schedule, and that's okay. Sometimes it might feel as though certain people get away with their actions, that they live free of consequences and go on with their lives without a second thought. But even when it seems like someone is escaping their accountability, karma is working. It's always at work. The universe has its own way of creating balance, and when you trust the process, you can rest assured that the wrongs will eventually find their way back to the person who committed them. It could come in the form of hardship, a lesson, or a reflection. Whatever form it takes, karma is fair, impartial, and always accurate. It's important to remember that your focus should never be on another person's downfall or punishment. Instead of dedicating your energy to making sure they suffer or face consequences, focus on your own journey. Work on healing yourself. Work on letting go of the pain and anger that binds you to the situation. When you're able to focus on yourself instead of others, you take back your power. You empower yourself to move forward with strength, peace, and growth. The energy you put out into the world should be positive, not rooted in resentment or malice. When you operate from a place of peace, you can be the example of how healing and strength come from self-awareness, forgiveness, and letting go. Some might think that by not seeking revenge, they're allowing someone to get away with their actions, as if they're letting them off the hook. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Allowing someone to go on without facing consequences might seem unfair, but by choosing to focus on your own peace, you're freeing yourself from the burden of carrying anger. Holding on to that anger doesn't serve you. It keeps you tied to the person who hurt you, and it prevents you from living your life fully and freely. Letting go doesn't mean you're weak or that you're condoning their behavior. It means you're choosing your own peace, happiness, and freedom over the toxicity that comes with seeking vengeance. Karma teaches you that you don't need to waste your time trying to make things right through force or manipulation. Instead, invest that time in self-improvement, growth, and reflection. Use that experience as a lesson. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate? Every painful experience is an opportunity to learn. Every betrayal can teach you boundaries. Every heartbreak can teach you the importance of self-worth and self-love. By learning, growing, and choosing a better path, you put yourself in a position where you're no longer operating from a place of pain or victimhood, but from strength and understanding. You'll find that when you let go of the need to punish, you begin to feel lighter. You free yourself from the chains of resentment and anger, and you make space for healing and growth. You give yourself the opportunity to rebuild your life without allowing the wrongdoer's actions to have power over you. This is about reclaiming your emotional energy. Why waste your time and spirit focusing on someone who doesn't care about your feelings or pain? Instead, pour that energy into creating a better, brighter future for yourself. Focus on things that empower you, your goals, your dreams, your relationships, your purpose. When you put your energy toward your personal growth rather than someone else's downfall, you invest in the kind of life that brings you peace. Karma has a way of bringing accountability without you having to lift a finger. It doesn't need you to chase after someone or demand justice. Life has its own ways of aligning consequences with actions. Trust in that. Have faith in the natural order of things. When you trust that the universe balances the scales on its own terms, you release yourself from the burden of trying to take control of things that are outside your power. Allow karma to operate without your interference and focus on creating the kind of life you want to lead. Focus on choosing peace over anger, growth over resentment, and healing over revenge. Letting go is always a choice, and it is one of the most liberating things you can do. When you stop chasing revenge, you stop giving your power away. You take control of your own happiness, your own journey, and your own destiny. Karma has a way of ensuring that those who sow pain will learn their lessons, and you can trust that their consequences are coming. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to obsess over it. Instead, trust the process, heal your heart, and move on. You deserve peace, happiness, and freedom from the burdens of anger. Trust that the universe will handle the rest. Karma is neutral and fair. It does not discriminate, and it does not pick and choose based on who you are, where you come from, or how much money you have. Many people struggle with the idea of karma because they perceive it as a form of divine judgment, but the truth is, karma isn't personal. It isn't meant to punish certain individuals out of malice or reward others because of favoritism. Karma operates as a simple law of cause and effect. Whatever energy you put into the world eventually finds its way back to you. This is a concept that applies to every single person, regardless of status, background, or privilege. The powerful truth about karma is that it is impartial, unbiased, and fair, working simply according to the choices we make and the actions we take. It's easy to look at someone with wealth, power, or influence and feel as though they are exempt from the consequences of their actions. Sometimes, it seems like certain individuals act without accountability, as if they've found a way to escape the effects of their decisions. However, that is simply a misinterpretation. Even those with the greatest advantages or the most power in this world are not exempt from the law of karma. While it might not always manifest in ways that are obvious or immediate, it will show up eventually. No one can outrun the natural laws of cause and effect, and that is what makes karma both fair and unavoidable. It doesn't matter if someone is rich or poor, influential or powerless. Every choice has a reaction, and the consequences will find their way back to the individual responsible. Karma doesn't judge or hold grudges. It isn't biased toward one group of people or another. This is important because many people may look at life's unfairness and think, why is this happening to me, or why is it always them? But karma isn't about assigning blame or unfairly punishing certain groups of people. Instead, it is simply a reflection of how choices affect the energies in our lives. If you act with kindness, generosity, and compassion, the outcomes in your life will reflect that energy. Similarly, if you act out of hatred, greed, or selfishness, those choices will also return to you in some form. This fairness can be empowering because it reminds us that we are in control of our actions and our choices. We are responsible for our own energy and for how we choose to interact with others. No matter how unfair life may feel at times, understanding this helps you stay grounded in accountability rather than bitterness or anger. Karma is about balance. It operates without prejudice because the goal isn't to target individuals or hold resentment. Instead, it balances the scales of energy over time, ensuring that life finds its way back to equilibrium. This is a powerful thing to recognize because it teaches us that you can't rely on privilege, status, or even manipulation to avoid consequences forever. Those things may provide a temporary shield, but karma is a steady force, unyielding and fair, and it will always return to the source of the energy eventually. Every choice you make sends ripples into the world, and those ripples will always find their way back to you, even if it takes time. Another important thing to recognize is that karma doesn't necessarily return in the exact same way or at the same time. Some people expect instant results, thinking that if someone does something harmful, they should face immediate consequences. However, karma isn't about instant retribution. It works in ways that may not always be visible or instantaneous. Sometimes the effects of an action unfold over the course of years, or even lifetimes. It could manifest as a lesson learned, a change in circumstances, or an emotional experience. This is why trust is such an important part of understanding karma. When you trust that karma operates fairly and without bias, you are freeing yourself from the need to micromanage or intervene in the lives of others. You can focus on your own choices and actions rather than becoming consumed by anger or judgment. Because karma is impartial and fair, it offers a chance for reflection and personal growth. You are free to take responsibility for your actions without fear of judgment or unfair punishment. Recognizing that you are accountable for your own choices helps you adopt a growth mindset rather than a victim mentality. If you've made mistakes or hurt others, you can learn from those experiences, take ownership, and choose to do better moving forward. You can trust that by taking the time to reflect, learn, and change, you are contributing to your own well-being and making positive ripples in the world. With this understanding, you can use karma as a tool for self-improvement rather than allowing resentment or anger to consume your energy. When you see life as fair and neutral, you also learn to have empathy for others. Even when someone seems to be getting away with their actions, remember that everyone is a work in progress. Everyone is learning their own lessons in their own way. Recognizing this neutrality allows you to approach others with understanding rather than judgment. Some people may act selfishly because they are struggling, broken, or in pain themselves. When you stop focusing on punishing them and instead focus on understanding and compassion, you give yourself the power to let go of anger and to operate from a higher place of awareness. By embracing neutrality, you free yourself from the emotional burden of constantly measuring others' actions and their consequences. Karma's fairness gives hope. It reminds us that even when life feels unfair, it is a reflection of choices and patterns, not random chaos. It provides assurance that no action goes unnoticed, and it gives us confidence that those who hurt others or act out of selfishness will eventually face their own lessons. It also serves as a guide for those who truly want to create a better life for themselves. When you focus on putting out good energy into the world, on making positive choices, and on acting with kindness and respect, you can trust that it will return to you. It becomes a reflection of your own actions, of your choices, your energy, and your intentions. Karma doesn't judge us by how much money we make or by our personal history. It doesn't judge by race, age, or privilege. It simply recognizes the choices we make and the way those choices create ripples through the world. It is a constant reminder that our actions matter, that our choices have the power to shape our own experiences, and that fairness is always at the heart of the natural order. Understanding this can be liberating because it allows you to let go of comparisons, resentment, and bitterness. Instead of feeling victimized by unfairness, you can choose to focus on your own path and your own decisions. With that understanding, you realize that life gives you opportunities to learn, to grow, and to balance your own energy by making thoughtful, intentional choices. Karma is fair because it is neutral. It isn't about punishing the bad or rewarding the good out of preference. It's about balance, reflection, and cause and effect. When you come to terms with this truth, you allow yourself to step into a greater understanding of your own actions and their role in your journey. You learn that fairness isn't about favoritism. It's about accountability, responsibility, and balance. And in that balance lies the opportunity to grow, learn, and live with purpose. Karma teaches us that our actions, no matter how big or small, will always have consequences. Every choice we make sends out an energy into the world, and that energy eventually returns to us, either in the form of rewards or challenges. This is an important lesson because it highlights that we are not just living our lives in isolation, but are deeply connected to the ripple effects of our choices. Every interaction, every decision, and every act of kindness or harm sets the stage for how the future will unfold for us and the people around us. Many people overlook this truth because they fail to connect their actions to their outcomes, but understanding that each choice has weight can empower us to live more consciously. When we act without intention or awareness, we risk creating negative patterns that may come back to haunt us later. Some may believe that the things they do won't matter, that their actions are too small or insignificant to affect anything, but nothing could be further from the truth. Even the smallest choice, whether it's a kind word, a helpful gesture, a moment of honesty, or a moment of greed or dishonesty, has a ripple effect that can expand far beyond our initial intention. These ripples interact with other people's lives and the choices they make, creating a chain reaction that will eventually find its way back to you. This is why being intentional with your actions and choices is vital. You must approach every decision with awareness and responsibility because you're not just impacting your own life, you're impacting the lives of others as well. Karma is a reminder that nothing goes unnoticed. Some people may try to act in ways that seem sneaky or manipulative, believing they can get away with their actions. They might lie, cheat, or harm others in hopes of avoiding consequences. But the truth is that even if their actions aren't immediately punished, they will eventually come back to them. Every action has a vibration. Every choice sends out an energy that has the potential to return to the source. This is important to understand because it emphasizes that no action, no matter how well hidden, will ever go without consequence. Many people think they can sidestep the natural laws of cause and effect, but life has a way of correcting these imbalances. Even if someone seems to live a life free from repercussions, it does not mean they have escaped karma. It will find its way to them in time, in a way that will force them to confront their actions. This understanding can lead to a shift in perspective. Instead of being consumed by bitterness or anger towards someone who has wronged you, you can release yourself from that burden by trusting that their actions will return to them naturally. You don't need to expend your emotional energy trying to make them suffer or seeking revenge. This is freeing because it allows you to let go of the need to force outcomes and instead trust in the natural order of things. You can put your focus back on your own life and your own path, understanding that you have control over your choices and your own journey. While you can't control the actions of others, you can control your responses, and your choices can reflect strength, maturity, and self-awareness rather than anger and resentment. It is important to remember that karma is not always about punishment. Sometimes it manifests as opportunities for learning, growth, and reflection. When someone makes choices that harm others, karma might not return as an act of pain or suffering, but as a series of lessons they must confront. It could come in the form of personal struggles that teach them empathy or the realization of their own mistakes. Likewise, when you choose to act with kindness, compassion, and generosity, the rewards of your actions come in ways that may not always be obvious at first, but will enrich your life over time. Acts of kindness have the power to create positive waves that will eventually come back to you, improving your relationships, opportunities, and emotional well-being. This is the beauty of the law of cause and effect. It gives us the opportunity to make changes and build the lives we want through intentional choices. The lesson of karma isn't about focusing solely on consequences. It's about learning to understand the interconnectedness of our actions. Every decision you make sends out vibrations that will interact with the choices of others. For instance, if you choose to treat someone with kindness, even if they don't reciprocate or acknowledge your actions, you've added positive energy to the world. That energy will find its way to the right places in time. Likewise, if you act selfishly, harmfully, or deceitfully, you're contributing to a cycle of pain and suffering that will inevitably return to you in some form. Every action carries weight and energy that aligns itself with the laws of cause and effect. When you internalize this truth, you begin to realize that your choices are powerful, and you become more careful about the energy you put into the world. Karma also teaches us humility. Understanding that your actions will always have consequences, whether good or bad, reminds you that you are not invincible. No matter how smart, strong, or clever you believe yourself to be, you are still subject to the natural laws of cause and effect. This isn't meant to diminish you, but to empower you to take ownership of your choices. The moment you stop pointing the finger at others and begin focusing on your own decisions and intentions, you step into a position of control over your own life. You empower yourself by realizing that while you can't always control how others behave, you can always control how you respond and the choices you make moving forward. Karma teaches us the importance of accountability. Taking ownership of our actions allows us to learn, grow, and make amends if necessary. It can be a powerful and humbling experience to acknowledge that you've made a mistake and take responsibility for it. This doesn't just allow you to correct your path, it allows you to learn from your experiences, build stronger relationships, and become a better person. When you act with integrity and choose to align your actions with honesty and fairness, you create a foundation of trust and respect that will reward you in ways you can't always predict. It can lead to deeper, more meaningful relationships and opportunities for personal development. Karma is always at work, regardless of whether you're aware of it or not. Every action, every choice, and every moment has meaning, and eventually it will return to you. By taking responsibility for your actions and understanding that they will always have consequences, you put yourself on a path of growth, healing, and balance. You give yourself the opportunity to choose kindness over anger, generosity over greed, and reflection over judgment. And in doing so, you create a life that aligns with positive energy and peace. Every choice you make is an opportunity to align yourself with a better future, one that rewards integrity, responsibility, and self-awareness. Choose your actions wisely, knowing that you are always contributing to the story of your life. Karma has a way of teaching lessons to everyone, and these lessons are often not as simple as punishment or reward. Sometimes, the return of energy is about giving individuals the opportunity to reflect, learn, and grow. These lessons are not meant to crush someone or destroy them, but rather to provide an opportunity for understanding. It is through these experiences that people are given the chance to confront their actions, recognize the patterns in their behavior, and make a change. The universe has a way of presenting the right lessons at the right time, even if they aren't immediately obvious. These moments of reflection can be uncomfortable, but discomfort is often a catalyst for change and transformation. Understanding the lesson behind karma allows individuals to step back, pause, and look at their actions without defensiveness or bitterness. Life has a way of allowing people to stumble and fall as they face the consequences of their choices. This is an opportunity, not a curse. Each of these moments offers clarity to those willing to face their own responsibility. Growth doesn't come from remaining in a place of comfort or perfection. It comes from navigating through the trials of failure, regret, pain, and recovery. Karma acts as a mirror, showing people the effects of their choices. When someone sees their own actions reflected back at them, they are often given the space to understand why things happened as they did and how they can improve. These moments of self-awareness are essential for breaking cycles of harmful behaviors. They give people the tools to make better decisions moving forward. It can be tempting to resist or avoid these lessons, because no one wants to face the discomfort of admitting fault or being accountable. Many would rather find excuses, shift blame, or deflect responsibility than take a hard look at the choices they've made. However, this only delays the growth that can come from accepting those moments with humility and a willingness to learn. When someone has the courage to own their actions and truly learn from their mistakes, they can emerge stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. These lessons are not about humiliation or shame. They are about freedom from patterns of self-destructive behavior, freedom from denial, and freedom from the burdens of unresolved pain. The return of karma can manifest itself in many ways, and these lessons often come when we least expect them. Sometimes they arrive as personal suffering, moments of loss, or feelings of emptiness. Other times they come in the form of opportunities to empathize with others, to learn the value of patience, or to reestablish priorities. Regardless of how they manifest, these moments of karmic return give individuals the chance to confront their own patterns and recognize their role in their own challenges. Often these moments force individuals to change their perspective, allowing them to see themselves and their actions from a new angle. In this way, karma is less about punishment and more about offering insight, healing, and the ability to choose a new path. One of the most important aspects of understanding these karmic lessons is the recognition that they don't make someone a bad person or define their worth. Everyone has made mistakes. Everyone has acted in ways they regret at some point. It is the response to those mistakes that matters the most. When someone can face their actions with honesty, humility, and a willingness to learn, they demonstrate strength and self-awareness. They show that they are willing to rise above old patterns, learn from their experiences, and strive to become a better version of themselves. Karma provides these opportunities not to shame or isolate individuals, but to give them a chance to transform pain into growth. Some lessons are only learned through personal struggle. It's through the discomfort of failure, the sting of consequences, or the weight of regret that people often find their deepest understanding. These moments teach humility, compassion, and resilience. They give a person the tools to step away from harmful patterns and move forward with clarity and strength. Every setback or painful return of karma holds the potential for rebirth, change, and improvement. It is a way of finding balance, not by punishing someone for their mistakes, but by allowing them the space to reorient themselves and make conscious, deliberate choices. When someone faces the return of their actions, it can be tempting to resist change or to ignore the lessons being offered. However, that resistance can lead to the same cycles continuing over and over again. Choosing to confront these moments with honesty and an open heart allows individuals to grow beyond their limitations and move into a place of self-awareness and healing. It is never too late to learn, to make amends, and to choose a better way forward. While the initial sting of consequence may feel overwhelming, it holds the seed of growth if approached with the right mindset. Every challenge can be an opportunity to learn something new about yourself, your motivations, and your patterns. Karma gives individuals the opportunity to break free from cycles of negativity by helping them recognize patterns they may have once ignored or denied. Some behaviors, if left unchecked, can spiral into repetitive cycles of harm and pain. These patterns can become so ingrained that individuals struggle to see a way out. However, the return of karma can act as a wake-up call, forcing a person to pause and reflect. These moments are gifts because they create the chance to break free, to shift direction, and to choose growth over repetition. The lessons of karma are not meant to trap people in shame or regret. Rather, they offer a reset, a moment of clarity, an invitation to step onto a better path, and the chance to rewrite one's story. The beauty of karmic lessons is that they give people the power to take control of their future by learning from their mistakes. They aren't bound to repeat their actions unless they choose to ignore the opportunity to grow. When lessons are embraced with humility, they allow a person to emerge stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. These lessons are opportunities for healing, for rebuilding relationships, for redefining values, and for creating a more authentic, honest life. A person who learns from their mistakes through karmic reflection has the chance to create a better life for themselves, one built on integrity, kindness, and accountability. When a person allows themselves to truly experience the lesson without fighting it, they give themselves permission to heal. Healing comes from acknowledging pain, reflecting on choices, and taking the steps to move forward with clarity and intention. The return of karma then becomes a teacher, a guide, and a mentor rather than a punishment or a burden. It is not about suffering indefinitely, but about transformation. It is about finding meaning in struggle, learning through mistakes, and allowing that learning to change the course of life for the better. Every individual is on their own journey. While the lessons of karma may sting in the moment, they are always an invitation to rise, to learn, and to evolve. They push people toward greater self-awareness, compassion, and growth, helping them align their actions with their values and intentions. These moments are gifts, not curses. When someone chooses to embrace the lessons of karma, they find themselves on a path of self-discovery and growth, one that is infinitely more rewarding and empowering than choosing to avoid accountability or blame. Through understanding, reflection, and change, the return of karma has the potential to be one of the greatest opportunities for personal transformation. Karma isn't just a lesson or a consequence, it's a guiding principle that gives us the ability to shape the course of our lives through the choices we make each and every day. One of the most powerful aspects of karma is that it provides individuals with a path to change. No matter the actions of the past, no matter how far someone feels they've strayed from the right path, it is always possible to redirect their life by making different choices. This understanding offers hope and empowerment because it means that no situation is ever permanent. Every moment is an opportunity to begin again, to rewrite a story that may have previously felt predetermined. It is through this understanding of karma that individuals can choose to take responsibility for their actions, make amends when necessary, and build a better future for themselves and the people around them. Life is full of choices, and every choice sends out energy into the world. Whether these choices are big or small, intentional or unintentional, they contribute to the universal law of cause and effect. But the beauty of this is that we are not prisoners to our past actions or decisions. The past does not define who we are. Rather, it provides us with lessons that we can choose to learn from. The ability to change is what gives individuals the power to break cycles, heal patterns, and transform pain into strength. By choosing a new path, we can create a new trajectory for our lives, one that aligns with purpose, integrity, and self-awareness. This is the gift that comes with understanding the laws of karma, recognizing that our actions are powerful, but that we are not limited by the mistakes of yesterday. One of the first steps in using the lessons of karma to change one's path is to take personal responsibility. Accepting responsibility can be difficult because it forces a person to face the truth about their actions and the impact those actions may have had on others. Many people struggle with this because admitting fault can feel like an admission of weakness or failure. However, it is in that acknowledgement that true strength is found. Taking responsibility isn't about shaming oneself or remaining stuck in regret. It's about claiming power over your own journey by accepting the ability to choose differently in the future. When you own your choices and their consequences, you free yourself from the burden of defensiveness and denial, creating the space to learn, heal, and grow. Once responsibility has been accepted, the next step is action, taking the steps necessary to make amends when needed and make positive changes moving forward. This could involve apologizing to someone who was hurt by your actions, offering your time or resources to make a situation better, or simply committing to act with greater compassion, honesty, and awareness in the future. Actions speak louder than words, and when someone is willing to prove their intentions through consistent, positive effort, they begin to change the course of their own story. They begin to create new patterns built on kindness, accountability, and transformation. Karma offers a second chance to those who are willing to take the steps to learn and improve. No matter how far down a path someone has wandered, it's never too late to turn things around. The moment a person chooses to acknowledge their mistakes and change their habits, they break the chain of cause and effect that may have been driving them in harmful cycles. This choice to embrace change is powerful because it demonstrates faith in the idea that growth is always possible, no matter the circumstances. Even in the face of pain, regret, or overwhelming odds, the choice to embrace accountability and growth can transform suffering into opportunity. One of the most liberating aspects of this understanding is recognizing that you can always control your actions, even when you can't control other people or external circumstances. You may not be able to undo harm, reverse time, or change the decisions of others, but you can choose how you respond to the challenges in your life. Choosing patience over anger, kindness over resentment, and honesty over deception allows you to break patterns of negativity and align yourself with personal growth. Every choice you make shapes your path forward and sends out a new vibration into the world. You can choose to learn from your mistakes, to grow from your suffering, and to use these moments as fuel for positive change. Understanding karma as a path for change means believing in the idea of redemption. Redemption is not about being perfect or never making mistakes again. Rather, it's about learning, evolving, and striving to live authentically and with intention. It's about recognizing that while mistakes happen, they don't have to define you. Acknowledging mistakes with honesty and then taking the steps to correct them is a powerful way to release shame, heal emotional wounds, and create a new narrative for yourself. This journey toward redemption is empowering because it puts control back into your hands, reminding you that you are not a victim of fate, but an active participant in creating your own future. Another key part of choosing to change through the guidance of karma is cultivating self-awareness. Self-awareness allows you to examine your choices, your motives, and your habits with honesty and clarity. It allows you to identify patterns that may have led you to harmful decisions and to consciously decide to replace those patterns with healthier choices. Awareness creates the opportunity to stop reactive behaviors and replace them with thoughtful, intentional action. It allows individuals to pause, reflect, and choose responses that align with their values rather than acting out of fear, anger, or frustration. This path toward change through karma isn't about trying to control every outcome or trying to force life to give you certain results. It's about aligning yourself with the understanding that you have the power to shape your own journey by making better choices, learning from your experiences, and approaching every moment with mindfulness. It's about trusting that when you make the effort to act with integrity, kindness, and accountability, the right path will reveal itself to you over time. Karma is ultimately a gift, not a punishment. It allows individuals to step into their own power, to learn, to grow, and to heal. It provides the tools to take responsibility for actions, to shift patterns, and to embrace new ways of living. The idea of karma as a path to change offers hope to anyone who feels trapped by the consequences of their past or overwhelmed by the challenges of the present. No matter how far someone feels they've fallen or how many mistakes they've made, they are never stuck. Every moment is a chance to redirect their journey toward growth, healing, and fulfillment. The choice to change, to learn, and to act with awareness is always within reach. Through this understanding of karma, individuals can step into a new narrative, one based on growth, self-awareness, accountability, and healing. They can build a life grounded in integrity and intention, knowing that every choice creates ripples in the world. These ripples don't have to lead to cycles of pain or regret. Instead, they can lead to transformation, connection, and freedom. In every choice lies the power to change the story, to grow, and to embrace the journey toward a better, more authentic life.